So let's do this problem. So we have 12129 sprint 17. The median and the mean of 5 positive whole numbers are equal. 4 of the numbers are 28, 24, and 12. What is the sum of all possible values for the fifth number? So let's let the fifth number be equal to A. So we have this number 28, 24, and 12, and some number A, where A is our fifth number. All right, so we have that our median and mean are going to be equal. So our mean is going to be equal to the following. So remember that we have to first sum up all the elements of the set, which is then 28 plus 20 plus 4 plus 12 plus A. And then we need to divide by the number of elements, or our cardinality, which is then equal to 5. And then our median, we don't know what A is, but let's just go through in order. So it can be 4, 12, 20, A, 28 is one option. And it doesn't matter here, A and 28 can be swapped. However, the point is that that doesn't affect the median. And in this case, our median is equal to 20. Alternatively, we can have for A 12, 20, 28, and 4 and A can be swapped. And in this case, our median is then 12. Finally, we have one last option, which is 4, 12, A, 20, and 28. And in this case, these are order least to greatest. So that means that 12 is less than or equal to A is less than or equal to 20, because A is our middle number. And in this case, remember, our median is A. I want to ask you all a question before we go on. Is there any other number beside any other case that I've left out that can change the median? So remember that A can be in one of 5 places. A is less than 4, 4 is less than A is less than 12, 12 is less than A is less than 20, 20 is less than A is less than 28, and 28 is less than A. And then, well, basically A is the biggest number in the set. And in some of these cases, they don't change the median. So indeed, these are our 3 possible cases. So this is our 3 cases for the median. I see a hand up if you want to ask a question. Okay, the second case. So basically, the second case, right here. Yeah, so basically what we have, oh, it's perfect, I have a spotlight. So in the second case, oh yeah, if the median and mean are both 12, well, we'll see how that works. So that basically means that A is between 4 and 12 or smaller than 4, or A is at most 12. Well, we might see that not necessarily every case works. And that's fine, but we just need to check all 3 of them before we can make an informed decision. To answer Arna's question, in a set, if a set is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, can the median be 3 and 4, just 3.5? There is always only one median. The median is unique. Let me write that in a different color. There. Yeah, I hope that helps. All right, so let's go back to the question. So let's do case 1 first, and I'll make that orange. So in this case, we have, or case 1, we have that A is bigger than or equal to 20. And since their median is 20, that then means that our mean, since our mean and median are the same, that's going to be equal to 28 plus 20 plus 4 plus 12 plus A over 5 is equal to 20. Yeah, so if we look at there's a question about like whether A can be negative. The question says that there are 5 positive whole numbers. Let me write that down. I mean, in data sets in general, we can always have negative numbers. We can have fractions, that's okay. But in this case, we are only going to have positive whole numbers. All right, so let's just work through the first case, and then we'll work through the second and third cases. Now, again, that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to find values that work, but we just need to try them all. All right, so let's solve for A. 28 plus 20 plus 4 plus 12 is equal to 64. So that means that 64 plus A, when we multiply both sides by 5, is going to be equal to 100. So that means that A is equal to 100. minus 64 is 36. And we see that A is greater, that's greater than or equal to 20. So 36 is one possible value. I'm just going to box that and see that our case 1 does work. Next, let's take a look at case 2. So if A is one of the first 2 elements, that means that A is less than or equal to 12, and our median is equal to 12. So that means that our mean, since we've already added this up, it's going to be 64 plus A over 5 is equal to 12. And that means that then 64 plus A is 60. So A is minus 4. That's not going to work because remember that A has to be a positive whole number and 4 is negative. Sad face. Won't. 2 doesn't work. Finally, we're going to go through and look at case 3. So now our median is A and 12 is less than A is less than 20. So that means that A is equal to 64 plus A over 5. And now let's go through and we'll just go through calculate this. So 5A is A plus 64. So 4A is 64 and A is 64 over 4. And that's 16. And we can see that 16 is indeed between 12 and 20. So that works out. Yay. Finally, we're going to see, we can just add up these 2 numbers. So if we wanted the sum of all the possible values at A, and that's 36 plus 16. We don't add in the negative 4 because that's not a positive whole number. And that's equal to 52. Nice job. And there we go. That solves sprint number 17.
Hi, everybody. This is Tim. Hope you're enjoying our videos. If so, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that sort of thing. But what I'd really want to invite you to do is to send us an email at media@mathleague.org. Tell us which problems you'd like to see us cover next in our video series. Take care and see you in the next video.